Oh. I almost always have to press that button twice. For some reason it worked.
That's good.
Mercury is no longer in retrograde. No, I have no idea who it is. Okay. Great. We're there. I'm going to go back to recording. I'm going to share, let's see. I'm going to replace the spotlight with me as I share the screen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Friday Night Comic event, workshop event, whatever we're calling them. Let's see. Let's see. How do we get rid of the thumbnails? There we go. We believe in comics. No, wait. Turn them off. Hide sidebar. There we go. Friday Night Workshop, Sequential Artists Workshop. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that we keep doing these. So some of you know some of this, some of you don't. SAW is a comic school. We have online courses. We have some in-person things. We're a nonprofit. You can find out lots of information at learn.sawcomics.org. Let's see, like some of the things coming up, a month-long course with Sarah we're going to talk about, DIY publishing. We've got some ongoing groups that have been starting up, Drawing Health with Georgia Weber down here, Sustainable Diary Comics with JD Lunt down here. Josh Bayer is going to be doing a monthly group for us because people love Josh so much and he's got so much to give that he's just going to keep going and not with no start and no stop. Next week in this spot, we've got Jackie Davis. If you know her Underpants and Overbites comics, you'll know that it's going to be kind of goofy and fun and really a lot of fun. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so let's do some sharing. At Friday Night Comics is the hashtag we use. You can tag us at Comics Workshop, or you can come on over to members.sawcomics.org and join us there, where there's lots of sharing going on there. That's a really nice place. Thanks for everybody who has been donating to these events. It really helps a lot, helps us pay Sarah and the other teachers. It helps us keep these free for y'all. There's lots of ways to support: PayPal, Patreon, the sustaining member donations, and also through Eventbrite on the Fridays. We appreciate that. This is a year out of date, and Mishka promises she's going to help me clean these up. So if Mishka comes on, we'll talk to her about reorganizing some of this stuff. I don't see Mishka yet, but we give a lot, we do a lot, and we're looking at doing some more this year. So take a look at the sustaining member page that we have at SAW. It'd be awesome. And you don't want to spend your money on crap games like Popeye. Okay, so please keep it PG-13. Thank you. No trolling or hate speech, no inappropriate speech or imagery. Thank you. Enjoy. And yay, Sarah's here for the second time or third time. I can't remember. Third time. Yay. And so I'm going to stop sharing, but I also want to remind you that Sarah's teaching a course starting February 4th. It's on Saturdays. How do I stop sharing? There we go. And so yeah, Sarah, welcome back. I didn't know it was 3. I've forgotten.
I know that happened fast.
So awesome. Welcome back. And I'll stop talking and I'll be here in the chat. I'll summarize things for people, and but I'll let you take it away, and you can reach out if you need something, but I'm just going to be here sort of typing away.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for spending your Friday evening or afternoon or whatever it is for you. I appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen and we can get to our first activity. I like to start with just a little warm up, and then it'll be connected to what we're doing. It'll all build off itself. So bear with me. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. All right. So for the first 5 minutes, we're just going to do like a little warm-up doodle. Just doodle a pair of shoes. It can be a pair you have owned, want to own, or maybe like a fictional character that they wear. Yeah, and if you finish your the doodle of the shoes before the 5 minutes up, just you can start drawing the character if you want. So yeah, let's get started.
if we draw our own shoes, Sarah, should we draw ourselves afterwards?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. And just as a, since this is going to be building on itself, if you don't want to like dive into memoir necessarily, then, you know, sometimes you don't want to think about things that have happened to you, then maybe draw a fictional version of yourself.
Sarah, Christina asks, should we draw them at the bottom of the page to put a character into them from like emerging like?
It doesn't matter because this, we're not gonna build off this drawing, we're gonna build off the idea. So it'd be up to you. But yeah, this is just a one-off. Good
Thanks.
question. Got about 1 minute left. All right, good job, everyone. Thank you. I drew a pair of Doc Martens I used to own before the soles completely fell off. And I was sad to give them up.
How long did they last?
Oh, like probably 5 years, and they came to me used. So that was pretty good. Yeah, they were good shoes. We're going to keep on moving though. So you can keep doodling if you want while I talk. I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit further and then introduce the bigger workshop we're going to do. All right. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Sarah Maloney. I make comics. I'm an educator doing things like this, and I use they, she pronouns. And thank you, Sequential Artists Workshop, for having me again. I'll talk more about the class that I'm going to do in February at the end of this. But if you're curious at what my work looks like, you can check out my Instagram or website, Maloney Doodles, just my last name. All right. Let's see. Oops, I skipped ahead. All right, so creating place. I didn't want to use setting quite, because what I wanted to do is just think about how do we create a place, and like, what does that mean? What are we thinking about, and what are we trying to show? So to me, the most obvious way was to talk about a few examples of place in comics and why I chose those examples. And then I'm hoping that'll inspire you to like make your comic at the end of this. So this is my own work. I do a lot of sci-fi and science comics. So for me, when I think about place, I'm thinking about really exact sort of details so that I can place things in a time. And for example, this one is in the past on Earth. So like I made the moon really, really close in visibility because it used to be closer to us. I forget the name of these, but they were like these. We don't have them. Or maybe we do on Earth now, but they like the particular environment. So that's what I focus on a lot when I think of place and like introduce a story. And then I love this artist, Shiguru. He's amazing. And so this would be an example of place where you're thinking about scale, right? You just sort of show this huge landscape environment. So you have this giant sense of place, and then all of a sudden we're dropped in with the character. So that's one way to think about place. The scale, environment, and just like, then we get into the more emotional part of the story. This is Jesse Jacobs. This example I thought was interesting because it sort of shows how you can start showing a place that seems familiar, and then all of a sudden you realize it's not what it seems. So it sets up the story to be one that's going to get weird. It's not going to be what you expect. And that's exciting to me because I'm like, well, what exists in this place that I don't know what it is. And this is another good, I love this comic, Canopy. This is an example of place that isn't as literal as the other ones. It's more like an emotional place, right? And you notice there's no panels. And I think that's one technique to sort of open up the reader and their emotions, right? And you place yourself in this really intimate place with the author and the characters in place. And often there it's like abstract, I think, sometimes, or symbolic when you have the emotional place. Oops, there we go. And then this is from Bottom Feeders. I think it's the first page. You have 3 panels setting up place, right? And they divide this building, which is sort of an ugly, boring looking building, but the characters are talking about 4 things. And so for me, this is how you can use it for like create place by foreshadowing, because like really there's something is missing and you're gonna find out what that is. And like what's not shown right is like the basement or the underground. So I think that's a clever way to sort of show place and what's to come. Yeah, and this is not like these are just things that are interesting to me. There's so many other ways to show place. But with that in mind, We're going to do a free write for 5 minutes. And I want you to think about those shoes that you just drew. And if you're like, I don't want to write about that, just choose another pair of shoes. We're not going to share our writing, so this is just for you. No one's going to know, like, please don't share. And I want you to do a free write that you or the fictional character are wearing the shoes that you just drew, and write about where you are. So I'm going to start my timer. And I'll start by asking a few questions about this place, but then just keep writing and I'll let you know when 5 minutes is up. So you can do this on a separate piece of paper. You can do this around or underneath the shoes you just drew. It's up to you. All right, so 5 minutes. You're in the characters in these shoes, and you're going somewhere. Think about what you see in front of you. What kind of sounds do you hear? What's to your right, your left? When you look up, what do you see? If there's sounds, like, do you see those sounds? Can you see what's making the sounds? If there's smells, what kind of smells are they? Just describe where you are, and I want you to be moving through the place in some way. Yeah, what do you see? All right, you have about 4 minutes. I'll let you write. And if you're like get a little stuck, ask yourself some questions about the place, or you just start doodling and just keep moving your pencil. I think it's a nice writing exercise. And if the story takes you somewhere, that's fine. Just let it go. Let yourself go. about 30 more seconds. Finish up what you're writing. You could think about what the weather's like in this scene, or what if there's other people or not, animals. Yeah, finish up that last sentence. All right, good job. Put your pencil down for a second. And now that we've written, we'll do the other part of comics, right? We get to draw. Yeah. So now you've thought about these shoes and you've moved through a space with them, writing about some details about this place. Maybe your writing took you off in a weird place. That's fine too. Thinking about these things, we're going to draw the place. I'm suggesting using at least 4 panels, but like you don't have to. And like I showed some examples without panels. But just think about the details, like what is particular to this place. What I did in my promo illustration for this was I grew up in Seattle and I took the bus everywhere. And so I just thought about what it was like being at that bus stop, or all the bus stops. And I drew details that I saw all the time. So that, yeah. And if you have anything to add, Tom, but that's the drawing prompt.
I was just going to ask, we can include characters, we can include text, right? It's not just drawing the place, but
yeah, if you want to.
Okay, but emphasizing the place especially, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
Thinking about those details.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, sound is part of space, people talking or what they're saying. Yeah, thank you. I'll stop sharing this screen and then I'll start drawing on my other one.
Oh, nice. I'll spotlight that.
Yeah.
If I can find it. Hang on a second. Hey, Sarah, before you go anywhere on the other screen, do me a favor and raise your Zoom hand under reactions.
Reactions.
It's just so I don't lose you again.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect. And now let me find your other screen, which I still haven't found. Ah, there it is.
How much time do you have? We'll draw until, let's see here, probably like, what's the math? 25 minutes. Probably until 7:45.
About 5 and change per panel. If we do 4 panels, it's about 20 minutes. I think we're getting about 2.5 minute mark, Sarah. What do you think?
That sounds good. Yeah, we can finish it up.
People are really
Finish.
curious about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm curious what they're
Are we
doing.
going to be showing our work?
Some of us, yeah.
If you're interested. I started drawing me and my partner at a park we often walk to. That's where my shoes took me. It's actually sort of an ugly park, but I find it charming. So I tried to show that. So usually lots of trash and stuff. But I like it.
Should we take some takers? Some people who finished early. It looks like Marlene, who's usually winds, comes in towards the end. I think Marlene's is our first volunteer today. So we'll start with Marlene, and anyone else who wants to share can raise their Zoom hand, and we'll ask you to unmute, and then we'll spotlight you. Here we go. Here's what Marlene is doing. Hi, Marlene. Oh, here, yeah. Marlene, are you able to unmute yourself? I try that again.
I was surprised I was so quick, but yeah, I love shoes, and I drew a granny wearing shoes, and she was ready to go.
Nice.
Now, because I live in Australia, and there's a place called Katoomba where there are mountains, I thought, well, let me start walking. And I started to walk in the second panel up the hill, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's like a few thousand steps to get to the top, which I tried to do with a lot of energy and stamina. And then I thought to myself, this is too much. But anyway, you get to a point called Three Sisters by the Aboriginal people that tell the story of Aboriginals in a place called Katoomba. So I got to that part, and then I was able to look back. And in the very far distance, I could see the city of Sydney. And I thought to myself, good on you for bringing this up so I can use my boots to stimulate my legs and walk. And then finally, I get to a point of saying, oh, this is too much. So I fell down on my bottom.
Oh no.
and but they said, no, it's okay, ma'am. We'll come and help you. That's okay. You at least try to climb with your good boots. And thanks for having me, Tom, and your host. Bye.
Thank you for sharing. I love that's a whole story, and how you tell it with you, and all the colors are wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Marlene. We'll go to Christina next, and then Lizzie, then Walter.
Hello, happy Friday.
Hi.
So I immediately, when you said shoes, I had to do these shoes.
Cool.
I am usually a felt clog Birkenstock kind of person. I have several suede slip-ons from Land's End to Birkenstock. But I found these, they're Italian, they're called Piccolinos. And Sarah, if you're from Seattle, I found them in Value Village. Like brand new with grease pencil still on the soles. Ooh. And they are like, I've never been in love with a pair of shoes, but it truly feels like I put them on my feet and I am a different person.
Amazing.
And I used to have a pair of cowboy boots in junior high that did the same thing. That you put them on, and then all of a sudden you're just like, check me out. So I drew. I did a writing bit about wearing them to go to a writing workshop. And if you're from Seattle, if you know Capitol Hill and the big play field, and I'm going to Hugo House to do a writing workshop.
Yeah.
And I'm still not sure if I think of myself as a writer. So I'm worried. And I put these shoes on because they give me confidence, but I have to go over the broken sidewalks in a neighborhood that's so old that the trees have grown up huge and then died and been chopped down, but the sidewalks are still all buckled from the roots that are still there. And all the leaves are wet. And so these are stupid shoes to be wearing. And so I'm mad at myself for that. I should be wearing sensible shoes, but I'm wearing these shoes, and I'm wearing them past the giant playfield where people are having a lightsaber battle. And there are homeless people, preaching whatever they need to preach, and dogs catching frisbees and stuff. And then I get to Hugo House, and there's a whole bunch of people in there that look like they belong, having fun. And my shoes might be failing me because I'm standing there like, I don't know.
Oh, you got it. You belong there. Oh, I grew up in Seattle and lived there for a while. Yeah, so I know. Thank you for sharing. That's another really fabulous story, and I'm rooting for you in your shoes.
Awesome. We'll go to Lizzie next. Here we go. There we go.
This was a fun one. I like that I had writing as well, because I don't feel like I write a lot. I did it all in pencils. I'm not sure how great it'll show up, but I drew some shoes and then did my little writing thing. And then I just basically wrote about walking in the woods with my dog. So I did some turkey tail mushroom growing, also doggy taking a long time, just some crows up in the sky. It was kind of cool to play around with like panels, shapes, and setting them inside stuff and everything. So thank you. That was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. This is really beautiful. I love the panel. Yeah, how you did the panels. That's really something. That's cool.
I love that I had to do it quickly and didn't think about it. So that was great.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks. Go to Walter. Once Walter comes on screen, we'll speak.
Hi. When you said shoes, I was intrigued because I've been fascinated by, we've been watching a lot of K-dramas, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's a style of really thick socks with little slipper shoes that I've been just fascinated with. So the last one we watched was had scenes in North Korea. So I just wanted to evoke the closeness that some people had to the demilitarized zone. So the feet are just walking from sort of a village out into the fields and the woods where the DMZ is in North Korea.
Whoa. I love that. I love the textures. It's like very simple, but I really love the simple textures you've added.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
tried to do it with the change in the kinds of grass, from one scene to another.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Walter. We'll go to John next.
I guess so. I kind of cheated and I didn't do a bunch of panels. I just did one big drawing, and it's this guy with like moon boot kind of things, and he's walking through kind of a bad neighborhood. There's a police car back here and everything's boarded up, and there's a homeless guy here. I mean, they're kind of friends, so I mean both guys could be homeless, and this guy's saying, "Yo man," and the other guy's sitting down saying, "Someone stole my stuff."
Oh no.
And all these cigarette butts at the bottom. And so I mean, it does relate to a personal experience. I actually lived in a really terrible neighborhood for a few months and was homeless for a little bit, so it does relate for sure. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. I love the boots Oh, like the color palette you've used, and then the boots pop like that. It's really nice.
Awesome. Thanks, John. We'll go to Michaela next.
Hello. So I initially started off with I thought of like some imaginary boots, but then I started thinking about shoes that I had. Like all of a sudden they just came to me, and I was like, that's right, I have this pair of shoes that are Converse covered in nacho cheese that I never wore after that. So the story behind that is, so this is the Forum in Los Angeles, and it was the hottest day in August out in the parking lot. I built a nacho cheese set for a Weezer music video. So I was in Weezer's Troublemaker music video with like a bunch of fans at the time. They handed us these giant tubs of nacho cheese. They were disgusting. It was like plastic pretty much, and it was super, super hot. They've been sitting out in the sun. They were just disgusting. So we made the nachos. They got on my shoes and, you know, filmed the part that they needed to film out there in the parking lot. And then I was trying to wrap up the last part of it, which is when I took them off, I was like, oh, these are destroyed by whatever kind of nacho cheese this is. And I just kind of threw them in a box. And I think they're still somewhere in my closet because I have sentimental attachment because of that story and the fact that the nacho cheese is still there. Like, I don't know how long ago that was, like 13 years ago or something like that. So that is the shoes and the story of those shoes.
Thank you. I'm very surprised where that story went. Thank you. That made me chuckle.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michaela. All right, we'll go to Jeannie next. There we go.
Hey, love that nacho cheese. It probably are still in your closet, and there aren't any bugs there because it wasn't real food, so nobody wants to eat it. So you're safe. So these are my shoes. I actually had some boots that were like those. They were my Wonder Woman boots.
Ooh.
And that's me thinking of putting them on. And the feeling I get when I put them on is they're going to take me away from all the gloom and transport me by flying over a meadow of wild mustard flowers. And that's me coming down into the flowers, and there I am. In the flowers.
Oh, I love that self-portrait of you in the flowers. That's great. Wow.
Thank you. This was really great. Just what I needed today. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Oh, we love hearing that. Thanks, Jeannie. Thanks, Sarah. All right, Alun next. Let's see. Yes, there we go.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. So for the shoes, like I mentioned in chat, when I'm not like at work or in a formal setting, I usually just wear flip-flops. So I drew those. Then I had plenty of time left over. So I drew another pair of shoes, and for some reason what came to mind is some kind of obviously goofy looking shoes worn by one of the main characters in a webcomic that I did years ago, which I'm thinking of relaunching this summer. But and so for the actual panel drawing, I figured instead of drawing myself, I go ahead and draw the webcomic character, especially then planning on relaunching the webcomic this summer. I may as well, get back in practice. So I haven't drawn this character in years, and I gave him kind of this setting going through this, I don't know, dungeon over lava pits. It's a fantasy webcomic. But like I said, it's currently offline, but hopefully in August it'll be back up. So I just drew various angles. Like first you see kind of the character. Obviously, the spot color I put in at the end, obviously I would have used a lot of different shades of color and done more detail had I more time. But anyway, you can see he's kind of on this elevated platforms over what's supposed to be lava. That's not necessarily obvious, except maybe from the color, but just different angles. First kind of close up, then a faraway side view with the lava fall in the distance in the ceiling, and then kind of a distant view where he's in the center there, and you can see more of a bird's eye view, so you see below the lava pit and the other things. So kind of, I don't know, a goofy fantasy setting, but it's just like I said. like, oh, the comic's called Soup, but it's currently, the site's not working currently. It's soupcomic.com, but if you go there right now, you'll get an error message. So hopefully in August it'll be back up. Yeah, I still have the domain name. I kept the domain name all these years, but the site itself needs to be relaunched this summer. Yeah.
Yeah, people are wondering, so we'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'll put the URL in the chat, but again, right now there's just an error message there. Hopefully this
Okay.
summer there'll be something else.
We'll bookmark it.
Or maybe
All right.
before the if I have time.
Thanks so much. We'll go to Una next. Let's see if they're there. Might have to go to Callan. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is that Una? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that's me. Oh, right.
You got something to show? There we go.
So it's me who walks by my cupboard wearing some shoes that I haven't worn.
Hard to hear you. I think maybe behind the.
Yeah. Let's do it. There we go.
There we go. A little better.
Better now?
Yeah.
So I was saying that it's me who's passing by a cupboard where I had some shoes that I haven't worn yet. Then I found them. And then I started wearing them again.
I love those walking panels, don't you, Sarah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the legs,
Yeah.
like the stride of the legs is really expressive.
I love the dark laces on the thinly drawn shoes. It's pretty cool too.
Yeah, very nice.
Thanks, Una. We'll go to Callan next.
I came in a little bit late, so I didn't catch on to the shoes thing right away, but I designed some like cool like futuristic shoes, and then it's not very bright in here, but I drew 4 panels of kind of like a really dirty New York subway based on an experience I had where there was like a hamburger that someone had thrown on the steps of the subway, and then no one had bothered to even kick it aside. And so I tried to put it into a different format over here where there's like kind of a cleanly dressed person on the subway, and then it's just showing all the different sort of nasty little bits of of the subway, like a rat and the hamburger, and then this poster that says Bright Futures, but it's got like graffiti scrawled all over it.
Oh, nice. Wow, you got a lot done. That's amazing. Looks good.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
Really nice drawings. Thanks. Okay, we'll go to Hannah next. Let's see if Hannah will come on screen. There we go.
Hello. Let's see. So I drew a pair of old Doc Martens, and then this character, this kind of too cool character. And I thought she might like to go to the mall of my youth, which is in Florence, Kentucky. So these are some vignettes of Florence. So this is kind of a wide shot of the chaos, a closer detail of some Slurpees, and unfortunately our too cool character has stepped in some goop on the floor. And then I imagined, this is kind of the Hot Topic worker who is very cool and very aloof, and our main character, likely as I would, has a crush on the Hot Topic worker. So this is the Florence Mall.
Nice, thank you. I just went to Kentucky for the first time. I love the lettering that you had. It's sticky, like whatever they stepped on. That's really nice. Thanks for sharing.
The first panel is really fearless. I really like that. Thanks a lot. All right, we'll go to Lynn next.
Hi. So this is my character that I had made at these other Friday night. It was the Secrets character. And I used to have I still do, I have a pair of red rain boots that look like this that I never wear because they're too hot and too fancy, and I never dress like this, but boy, it would be really fun to do that. And my feeling about her was she's all dressed up and ends up in the wrong place. And where I am most days is in Prospect Park with my dogs. And there actually is a woman who comes dressed to the nines in Prospect Park. And I would love to be able to do that, but I leave there covered with mud and gunk. And I always wear my hiking shoes and some ratty old pants and a jacket that's dedicated to the park. So I thought, oh, what fun to imagine going to the park with my two big dogs. And so there's a tunnel that you enter, and it looks like this. Oops, sorry. It looks like this from the inside of the tunnel. And that's what the tunnel looks like from the outside. And then they also love to swim in the lakes and the creeks in the park, which is another place where I get thoroughly muddy. So that's it.
Oh, thank you. I love how expressive your lines are. The loose, like that's really nice. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you for
Lynn, getting a lot of love in the chat for that.
Oh, I have to take a look.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to Fiona next, and then Chris, and then Cheryl. Fiona will come on. Let's see. All right, we're waiting for them to come.
Okay, can you all hear me, see me?
Yeah, we can't see you.
That's not good.
If you want to play around with it, we'll go to Chris real fast.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, cool. I drew this a little backwards because I was remembering the shoes and then working back to what the place was. But I was in a very tiny porta potty on the bus. And it was so rickety to get there. I was like gripping onto head seats next to the passengers. That's that right there. And this is the door handle. It said unoccupied, and that's the bus. You can see my silhouette fighting for my life in there.
Thank you for sharing. That's funny. I like the POV shot in the very cramped bathroom.
It's so tiny in there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fiona. Okay, we'll go to Chris next. Let's see.
Okay, mine's about, I used to want a pair of black boots like this, and I bought a pair of ones. I find it really challenging to draw from imagination. But I used to take a lot of motorcycle trips, and I live in a place that's cold now. So I imagined taking a motorcycle trips like somewhere in the desert, and then just stopping at a place to relax, like a bar, an old bar, and have a beer, and with the motorcycle jacket and gloves, and then just hanging out.
Nice.
So it was great to have like a sense of that place just by thinking of it.
Yeah, no, I get a lot of sense of place. I love just the full beer in the taps. That's nice. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Chris. Go to Cheryl next.
Okay, let's see. Mishka's trick. So this is a walk where I grew up in British Columbia, and there was this really odd evergreen tree that was really skinny and just had this tuft on top. And I would walk to Tom's food market, and I Googled it, and it looks exactly the same like 30 years later. I can't believe it. And they had these ice cream sandwiches that I would give anything for. They're like Canadian, and they're made by Dairyland, and they had a flower on it, and they had blue writing, and they were yellow, and they were like the perfect ratio of chocolate to ice cream. And then there's my little shoe on the bottom. I wished it was an LA Gear shoe, but it was some kind of knockoff, but it was still cool.
This is really lovely. Thank you. And I instantly love that tree. I find it very endearing. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Let's see, Gus, if you can come on screen, we can show you, and then we'll go to Mishka and then Mara, and I think that might be the end.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I missed the exercise about the shoe. So this is kind of what I came up with on the short notice. Anyway, here's kind of where the first panel is. He's supposed to be wearing, they're in the like a suburban area. And so they're wearing boots. I'm sorry, I didn't miss when we were drawing the shoes, so this is what I came up with.
Can you maybe bring it closer or maybe tilt it in a way that we can see possibly? Yeah.
Can you see?
Other way.
Yeah, not that way.
Yeah.
But if you
Or
maybe
towards.
oops. Oh yeah, that we can see,
Yes,
but now you can't.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try and share my screen. Maybe that'll be better, easier to see.
I don't know if we have screen sharing enabled. I'll let you do it for a second. Is it on that computer as well? Mishka has a trick if you see, but it's complicated. I don't know how she does it actually, and the previous person just went to.
It's disabled.
Is it on the computer you're on now?
It's not.
Go ahead and try it.
Okay, it works. And so this is the two figures walking out of an alley here, and they've never been to the city before, so they don't really know to stop for cars to come by. So they are stopped. So the car spots to run them over, but the driver and the passenger get out and start yelling at them to not be in the street.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I love how the moment to moment action that you're sketching out.
Yeah, I kind of did not get the chance to really flesh out the setting of so I kind of had to work with very tight action panels.
Oh yeah, no, this is great. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us. We're gonna go to Mishka next, I think. Let's see. Yep.
Hi.
Mishka will show you her trick.
Oh yeah. So my trick is to make it a background, a virtual background, like you just do it. But unfortunately, I haven't figured it out quite as much as the other person. So so I never have the right dimensions. So oops. Can I share screen instead?
Yeah, I think you have that option.
Thank you. Wait, is it here? There? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this I'm wearing these bright yellow shoes. Can you see them down here? They were just tennis shoes, and the mother of the bride had commented earlier when someone was trying to figure out who I was. She said, "Oh, she's the adult woman dressed like a little girl." This was at the Carmel Country Club, and we were on the veranda saying how beautiful it was and how we were unsurprised that our friend became an ornithologist because there were these gorgeous birds and this beautiful marsh. And the mother of the bride came out of nowhere and said, "It's too bad it's so gray today." And then said, "Oh, well, maybe it'll be nicer next time she gets married." And for those paying attention, this was the morning after the wedding.
Oh, oh no.
Nice.
Thank you.
Lizzie says that lady is a character.
She is.
I like how you used color to sort of distinguish the grumpy one, you know?
Oh, she was grumpy. She was unhappy. She
Yep.
was unhappy about very beautiful weather. It was weird.
All right, Mishka, thank you.
Sure.
Let's see. Mara and Mickey are here on a really glitchy screen. It's like really endearing. Oh, I have to ask you to unmute. I'm so sorry. Hang on. How do I do that? There we go. No, hang on. There we go.
Hi, is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you want to go first. Okay, so I drew a pair of Converse. I'm not going to show you the picture. And I work at a daycare every day. I say I'm not going to get in the sandbox. Every day I do. And then I forget and I come home and I take off my shoes and it's just like freaking desert pouring out of my shoes. So I drew somebody walking through a desert. You can't see it at all, but that's fine. And and then after that I had a lot of time, so I drew a comic about a girl named Oyster getting food poisoning. And that's fine. The end. That's Oyster. She's eating a hot dog. She's running to the bathroom. then she poops in public.
Oh no.
Yes. Try to follow the act of oyster. Hi, Mom. I drew Kensington Market where I used to live in Toronto. Yeah, sorry about my screen. Got all of the funky houses and shops, and then I'm really, really proud of how this weird little dog turned out, and it's gonna eat that pizza that I found on the ground. And then there's a bunch of fruit for sale and a bunch of sunglasses and different crap, and I think it captures the vibe pretty well. Anyway, thank you.
Awesome. And Mara, you got to tell us, I sort of feel like you're using like a 70s filter on your
No,
camera.
it's just broken. It's just my camera's broken. It's old-fashioned breaking.
Keep it that way. That's valuable patina.
Very atmospheric, right? Okay, greetings from the upside down. Bye.
Nice to see you guys. So we're going to revisit Una, who says that they've colored their cartoon, and then that'll be it. And we'll say goodbye to Sarah. But Una has to come on screen. There we go. Let's take a look. We can't hear you, Una. I don't know why, because you are unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So I recolored it in CMYK colors, the old style one. I'm gonna show it. Here we go.
Oh, cool. You did that really fast. Amazing. I love the colors you chose.
Thank you.
And that the shoe's still black and white, because I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Thank you.
Great job. Thanks so much. Well, all right. Let's spotlight Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much. How like just satisfying and meditative and wonderful to exist in place for a while.
Yeah, thank you all. I was really happily surprised all the stories that came out of that. That was really fun.
The shoes. What a great way to start it.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising number of I drew Converse too. A lot of Converse in this. So I think people on Instagram, we should all hashtag Friday Night Converse. That's it. Friday Night Comics and Friday Night Converse. Yeah, real fast. I'll put that sharing link in the chat again. But this was really marvelous. All right, there it is in the chat. So Sarah, tell us one more time about the class that you're running for us. It's DIY publishing.
Yes, yeah. I'm very excited. Have it planned out. DIY publishing. It's going to be a 2-hour class for 4 weeks, and it's going to be split. The first hour sort of will be like what you experienced today, and our creating will build on itself to hopefully either finish or get you started on something that you can self-publish. And the other half of the class will be boring, but very interesting and useful information about how to I have self-published so many comics, and I just am really good at bothering people, and I want to share that info, and how do you print, and how do you get people to know about your stuff? And I just want to spread that info because I think self-publishing is awesome and we should all do it.
Awesome. And the art of bothering, I think that's a whole, that can be a whole series of awesome. Okay. I love it. Yeah. So, well, you can all unmute. Let's say goodnight. Let's say, let's have a good weekend or whatever weather pattern you're experiencing these days. Really crazy lately. Yeah. Sarah, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Crazy glitching camera.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.